Hi guys, this is Kyle Jerdy. I'm talking to you here today because I wanted to share with you the importance of setting goals. So why is it important to set goals? Because setting goals, first, it gives us a destination. It gives us a possibility of a life that we're living into. It gives us the possibility of something that is not here right now. And whether we're talking about Picasso to Mahatma Gandhi to Nelson Mandela to John F. Kennedy, they all have goals. They have big dreams. They had a vision. They had something that they inspired to. And because they had these goals, that's how we're able to lead the nation and the world towards accomplishing these goals. So as leaders, it's important to set goals for ourselves first, and then to learn how to set goals for others so they can follow our mission and vision and have them to make a difference in the world. So that's why it's important to set goals. Now, how is it a problem if we don't set goals? I know some people who just, living day to day, working hard, doing the best they can for the resources they have, and hoping for, things to change, and without having clear destination, without having clear goals. And as a result, they get frustrated for not accomplishing these results. If you ask them, so what is your goal? Where do you see yourself a couple of years from now? You see that, look on their face that, that's confusing, like, I never actually thought about it. So I challenge you right now to start thinking of what is your goal? What do you see? Where do you see yourself a year from today? We're approaching, December right now, so in a few months. So we're approaching the new year. And, it's a good time. I'm not a big fan of setting goals right before the year ends, and mostly when I'm drunk, I'm setting for the next year, where you're going to lose track and the essence of why it's important to you. I invite you to set goals, and not just on quarterly basis. I set goals today on daily basis. Every night before I go to bed, I set my goals for the next day. What are the results? What the goal that I want for the next day? And guess what? It's the most fulfilling thing in the world, where you actually go through that checklist and it's like, wow, I accomplished this, I accomplished that, I accomplished this. I remember when, a few years back, when I was on the bottom in my life. I was really in the bottom. Like, I lost my business, I lost all my savings, and I'm looking here at a foreclosure letter on my house that I bought, a few years back. And now it's like, wow, now what? Like, now what I'm gonna do? And that's when I got to start looking into myself and finding out what is really my goal. Like, what do I want? So I'm gonna share with you, a tip, a model that, that I took on myself that helped me to create, the life that I'm living today. And all started with writing down your goals. Okay, writing down your goals. So goals are destination. It's a possibility that you are living into. So it all starts right here. Tony Robbins talks about, 80% of success is right here between our ears, and only 20% in action. We tend to take a lot of action, yet we throw things on the wall, we hope something to stick. And you do the same thing over and over and over, and you expect different results. And we all know what the definition of that. That's pretty much insanity, yes? And also Albert Einstein said something where, you can't solve a problem with the mind that created it. You can't solve a problem with the mind that created it. Meaning, we want to step outside of our comfort zone and willing to take a risk, willing to take a chance. So I'm inviting you right now to, take on this model and think of the goals that you want. And I'm going to show you a step-by-step process how to make these goals to be smart goals. And at least make a smart goal, not just any goals. All right? All right, so sit back, relax, and let's get to it. How to create goals. So if you see here, SMART goal starts with an acronym. This model has been around for a while, and it's been around for a while because it works. But now I'm going to dig deeper into it and how I'm going to make it, I'm going to help you understand how you can be more specific with it, and how to be more detail-oriented, and how to make it more achievable, okay? So S stands for specific, right? You got to have your goal specific. So for example, with specific, if you say I want to make more money, is that specific? No. Like, here's a couple of dollars, like my mentor Tony Robbins says, and now you can get out of here. You want to get a better job? Well, compared to what? Okay, is that specific? No. What job exactly you want? All right. I will have this relationship. I will be in this relationship sometime in the future. Is that specific? No, it's not specific. What is that relationship specific? What type of person you want to attract in your life? How specific you want to be around it? So, do you want a person to they play certain hobbies with? They like outdoors. They like indoors. They like dark skin, white skin. You want a person that laughs at your corny joke. You want a person that is a go-getter and want to be out there and focus on their career. They're financially savvy. You want someone just to be a home person where they can just spend time with you at home. What kind of person you want, okay? So you want to be specific about it. So there are 3 rules for being specific, okay? I'm going to share with you the 3 rules. So we're going to start with specific, okay? And there are 3 rules for being specific. Rule number 1 is you always want to create your goal in the present tense. In the present tense. Meaning, a goal where you say, I will be in this relationship, or I want to be in this relationship, or I will have this much money. That's in the future. See, the unconscious, it's very interesting. Like brain scientists and research has showed that the whatever you tell your brain, your unconscious will takes it literally as it is. So if you keep saying to yourself, I will attract this, or I want to be, I will have, then the brain is going to literally read it that, oh, I will have it eventually. I want to have it, which I don't have it right now, but I want to have it, which comes in from a place of scarcity. So either way you look at it, the brain will not give you the essence of who you are right now. Because from my humble experience for the past 187 seminars that I've done all over the country and I've spoken worldwide, I found that successful people, they are very meticulous about how they create their goals. They follow a very specific model to create the goal, and they're very aware of the language, because your word creates your world. So what you say, what you're creating, that's what differentiates us between other species, is our word. So our word is very important for us to help us create the outcome and the goals that we want. As a matter of fact, instead of saying goals, let's say outcomes. Because goals, it seems like, oh, if I don't accomplish my goal, I lose. Outcomes, you always want to get an outcome. You always get an outcome. Whether you take action, you get an outcome. You don't take an action, you're going to get an outcome, which is no outcome or no results. You can still take an outcome. The outcome is, you didn't get what you want. That's the difference. So let's call it an outcome. Outcome is much more empowering. So we're going to change goals, okay, into outcome, okay? Change into outcome. All right, so that's rule number 1. Specific, you gotta have to be you gotta speak it in the present tense. You wanna say, I am in a relationship, for example, okay? I have $10,000 on a monthly basis of income. I am a district manager for my company, okay? I am. The more you say I am, that's power of affirmation. It's really, I'm not a big believer of affirmation, but wording it in such a way that the unconscious accepts it as it's now, that's going to give you the aliveness. That's going to give the brain the possibility that it's now alive. And the more you get present to it, the more you recreate it, the more you restate it and be present to it, the more it finally, like a sponge, the unconscious will accept it. See, the difference, the thing is, with the unconscious and the conscious, the unconscious, it's more like a horse, and the rider is more like the conscious mind, right? So let me explain this. I got this from a resource with Dr. Tom Miller. He talks about it, and it's very fascinating, and it makes so much sense. So the unconscious is a horse, and the conscious is a rider. Let me share with you a short story. When I first graduated engineering back in 2006, I brought my parents over to come and attend my ceremony from Lebanon, and that's where I'm originally from. And after when I'm going through the ceremony, I figured I can take him to Sedona in Arizona. Like, as I reside in Scottsdale. At the time it was Tempe. I haven't even bought the house yet. But I took him to Sedona. I figured Sedona is beautiful. And for those of you who have not seen Sedona, remember the Coyote and the Roadrunner, the cartoons, and the background with the scenery and the rocks and the red rocks. That's Sedona. It's just magnificent, beautiful place. So I took him there for a horseback horseback riding. And we're there, we have other people, and there's a guide, and we're now, taking the tour. I'm taking the guide for like a couple of hours, horseback riding. And in the beginning, it was fun, exciting, seeing all these, the horses and all that stuff. It's fun. And now after a while, I start getting a little bit kind of bored. I started to want to get more action, especially that we're walking slow. I want some like action. So I started getting the horse to get out of that, track that's following everybody else, all the other horses. I want to get the horse to get off that track so I can just kind of like wander on my own, just have a little fun, maybe do some, running, whatever, right? So I started getting the horse to move, and the horse wouldn't budge. It's like, okay, horse, I got it. Come on, let's go. And the horse wouldn't move. The horse keeps following everybody else. Until finally I kept doing it and doing it and doing it, and finally the horse gets off the track and boom, started like running, right? Now, never mind that they caught me, the guide, and he told me never do that again. But the point is that the horse would follow a certain track that it's used to from the past, which means your unconscious will keep following a certain pattern that you've been doing in the past. Which really means that we keep recreating and redoing the same habits over and over and over. And now we wonder, how come we're not creating different results? So the key here is to break that pattern. That's step number one. Step number two, take on a new pattern. And step number three is keep doing it over and over and over. It becomes a new habit. So you replace the old habit with a new habit. Okay? So with that in mind, consider that your unconscious is your horse that keeps doing the same thing from the past over and over, whereas your conscious is your rider. It's the one that wants to get off that track and just go do something fun, more adventure. The rider is the one that drags you out of bed in the morning even if you don't feel like it. It's the one that gets you to go learn and grow and step out of your comfort zone, or do something different, learn a musical instrument, or go learn dancing salsa, or jumping off an airplane, or travel the world, or just go and speak in public, or do something that gets you to be uncomfortable, gets you outside your comfort zone. That's the job of the rider. Okay, so that's the stronger the rider is, the more successful we become. Because the horse, the main role of the horse, which is your unconscious, is to protect you. It's survival. That's it. Which means if you're sitting right here watching this video, that means the unconscious, which is your horse, has done a good job so far keeping you protected. Which means that anything that is new or different will be a threat for the horse, or the unconscious will be a threat. Okay? Which means what? That it's going to keep you where you at. If you want to count on the horse, if you want to depend on the horse will keep you where are you now, comfortable. If you're sitting right now watching your favorite show, petting your dog or your cat, munching on whatever you're munching on, drinking a beer or drinking pizza, whatever, you're comfortable, aren't you? Now, are you growing? That's something you got to ask for, respond for. Yes? So only when you're uncomfortable, that's when we're growing. And death is the growth of impact. So now that being said, that comfort is the death of growth, now let's get ourselves outside of our comfort zone. So number two rule for being specific, besides the being in the present tense, using the word I am, using the sentence started with I am, will be don't use any negative in it. No negative, meaning, oh, I don't want to be where I'm at today. I don't want to be single anymore, or I don't want to struggle with money any longer. It's just great to have this conversation, because sometimes really you gotta be really in pain that in order to move out of that to pleasure that you want. So you really got to get present to the pain. However, when it comes to setting goals, you want to keep it in the positive, because the horse, which is the unconscious, doesn't get the negative. Meaning, if I tell you right now, don't think of a pink elephant, what are you thinking about? Don't think of a white fluffy cat. What are you thinking about? I know you are. Stop it. So you got the point, yes? So you got to start thinking about it. You tell the child, don't spill the milk, he's going to spill the milk. So don't use a negative, use a positive. So say, I am a district director versus I don't want to be the supervisor anymore. That's not a goal. So be in the present and be in the positive. State it in the positive. Okay. Third rule for being specific: you want to get rid of any competitive, such as more of, less than. I want to have more money. I want to have less stress. More of, less than. Anything you want to compare to the past is not a goal, because you want to create a new future. You want to create a new possibility of a new future. You don't want something to be compared to the past. Does that make sense? Yeah? All right, good. So that's specific. So the M stands for measurable. If a goal that you can't measure, it's not a goal, okay? So the question that you ask yourself right here will be, how would I know that I got it? How would you know that you accomplished that goal? Is it something that you got to see, something you got to hear, something you got to touch or feel, or is it something you got to smell sometimes, right? If you smell the money, for example, or you smell the ocean when you're in Hawaii, if you want to go and live there, for example, or if you want to want to see a villa that you want to live in, or you want to see a partner that you want to attract to your life, or you want to hear the soothing sound of the waves, or your partner whispering in your ears, I love you. Okay, what are the evidence? What is the evidence procedure for you to know that you accomplished your goal? And this is very important. So if you can't prove that, how would you know that you got it? Most of us, we walk in life, we think that we have what we want, or we want something that we don't have, and yet many times that we actually do have a lot of things that we're not appreciating. Okay, appreciation, if you look it up in the dictionary, it's giving value to something. You want to give value to. Okay, T. Harv Eckert talks about, gives an example. It's a perfect example is, if you have a child and you walk in the mall and the child asks for a toy, and you buy the child a toy, and immediately the child just toss toy on the floor, and now you walk, you continue shopping in the mall, and the child asks for another toy. Would you buy that toy for that child? If you're a good parent, you probably wouldn't. Why? Because the child didn't appreciate the toy that you bought first. So you gotta appreciate what you have in order for you to attract more of it. It's the same thing with setting goals. If you're setting a goal and you're not appreciating what you have right now, then why would you deserve to have more of? Why would you deserve to have something more of what you have right now, where you're not appreciating what we have right now? So the attitude of gratitude is the number one tool in order for you to help you attract what you want in your life. So I invite you every morning, just go through the list. Tony Robbins talks about a few questions to ask yourself, and that is, what am I grateful for in my life now? And just be really with it, not just I'm appreciative for my husband or wife, or I'm appreciative for the job that I have. Even sometimes if you have a job that you're not actually enjoying, consider that a lot of people, they don't even have a job, and we're living we are lucky to be living here in the United States. From the very simple things that, I came from a third world country. Okay, and I was, I used to study. I remember I used to study on a candlelight. Okay, because there's no power, there's no electricity. Take shower when we have to heat the water, and then grab something and just kind of like take a shower that way. Just little things that we take advantage of, that we just consider as part of life, that a lot of people that they don't have. And this is really, truly the land of opportunity, and let's be appreciative for it, and let's really step up and make the best of what we have, because if we don't, then somebody else will. Okay? A stands for attainable. Are your goals attainable? Meaning what? Attainable meaning it's somewhere between easy and impossible. That's where you want to be. This is the range you want to be. If it's too easy, then it's not motivating. If it's impossible, then that's demotivating too. Yes? So you want to have it to be challenging, meaning you want to step outside your comfort zone and get results. If you shoot for the stars and you get to the moon, that's a good start, isn't it? That's good. Which means whoever sets goals usually, pushes the limit, pushes the boundary up. Okay? So, is it attainable? Ask yourself. Is it challenging? How would you know? You ask yourself, is it challenging? Okay? R, so this is attainable. Excuse my handwriting here. Can you tell I'm an engineer? R, it stands for realistic. Okay? Is it realistic? Okay? Realistic, you want to ask the question, is it worth it? Is it really worth it to attain this goal? What would that do for you? Okay? So you want to ask yourself a few questions right here. Okay? What would happen if you do? That's question number one. What would happen if you don't? That's the second question. Third question is, what wouldn't happen if you don't? And the fourth question is, what wouldn't happen if you do? Okay? I know this is like a double negative in it, and there's a purpose behind it, because the unconscious, which is your horse, will get confused. And confusion is a great place to be, because it's a step that comes right before when you get it. So when you answer these questions based on what I just formed them, and I'm going to repeat them for you again so you really get them, now you'll be able to get present to really why do you want this goal. It's not about getting the goal, it's not getting the outcome, apologize, it's about why you're getting that outcome. What would that do for you? So the 4 questions are, what would happen when you do? What would happen when you don't? What wouldn't happen when you do? And what wouldn't happen when you don't? Those are the 4 questions you want to ask yourself, and get really present to the pain of when you don't have it and the pleasure when you do have it, because those are the twin forces that will motivate us to move towards what we want. Okay? And T stands for time. Okay? Time. By when is the question you want to ask yourself. By when are you committed on accomplishing this goal? So John F. Kennedy says, a man on the moon by the end of decade. Period. It's easy, it's present tense, and it has a time limit on it, and it's something that you can see. A man on the moon. It's measurable. A man on the moon. That's the evidence procedure. Okay? Is it attainable? Yes, we had the technology to do it. Is it challenging? For sure. Is it worth it? Of course it is worth it. Okay? It just expanded our realm of thinking. If we can get to the moon, what else can we be capable to do as human beings? And as a nation, what else can we do? Okay? So this is a SMART model. I invite you to write down your goal right now. Take a moment and write down your goal, at least just one goal, so you can just get a feel of it, how it works for next year, for 2015. Okay? Make sure that's specific, meaning it's in the present tense. It has no comparatives, more of, less than, and it's in the positive, no negatives in it. Measurable, ask yourself, how would you know that I got it? What if something you gotta see, hear, feel, touch, or smell, or taste sometimes? What is the evidence procedure for that? Attainable, is it attainable? Is it worth it over here? And what are the 4 questions? Ask yourself those 4 questions, and then put a time limit to it, and then share it with someone that you trust, and commit to it. Because when you commit to it, when you share it with someone that you trust that wants the best for you, now it's out there, now it's written, now it's being created, now it's in the creation, and now someone else will hold you accountable for it. So most of us, when we share our goals, we have this fuzzy feeling on our face, like, oh, what if I shared my goal and now someone a year later is going to tell us, oh, how's that trip to the Caribbean that you said you're going to take? Did you do it? And you're afraid that you're going to be embarrassed, that no, things didn't work out, things like that. So don't worry about that, because I'll tell you what, first, when you share with someone that you trust, that person is going to empower you. He's not going to put you down. They're not going to tell you, oh, what happened to that, being sarcastic with you. They actually want to support you. They want to keep you on track. They want to call you once in a while and just keep pushing you forward. Okay? That's 1. 2, now you're going to keep pushing yourself forward because you shared it. You created it. The word creates a world. All right? So always remember that. So that's a SMART goal model. I hope that gives you value. It's not about just focusing on one area of your life and getting other areas to be sacrificed. Life is a balance. It's the wheel of life, okay, that you want to focus on. And that's where success is. Success is not getting to the outcome, not accomplishing the outcome. It's who you become as a person in the process of getting to that outcome. I hope that makes a difference for you, and you can sign up to my newsletter at fearlesstransformation.com. Again, it's fearlesstransformation.com. I'll be sending you those free learning modules, and I want to hear your feedback. I want to hear what are you getting out of it. Please don't hesitate to send me your feedback. I personally will respond back, I promise. and I'll make sure that you are getting what you want. And if something, a specific topic you want me to give you some tips around, please, send me an email at fearlesstransformation.com. Right? All right, so that's it for today. I hope that you really do take that exercise on, write the notes, and I hope to see you in the workshop coming up in December 4th, and I will look forward to hear your feedback. So thank you very much for considering me to be a guide on the side, not a sage on the stage, and I look forward for our next module. Cheers.